In a time when nothing is certain, anything is possible. And if there is one thing this year of unknowns has produced, it is a depth of racing talent that has not been seen in many years. The 125th chapter of Africa's greatest horse race sees all the drama unfold as experienced champions go head-to-head against a new generation of rising superstars. On Saturday, the 3rd of July, 18 of these majestic thoroughbreds will thunder down the speedway of dreams in an awesome display of spirit and stamina. Who will you choose? The 2021 Vodacom Durban July, behind closed doors at Hollywood Bets, Greyville.
2021, the Vodacom Durban July is finally upon us, and you find us here in the classic room at Hollywood Bets Greyville, and on my right-hand side, there's a fantastic wall with all the colours over the last 50 years or so of famous horses, famous owners, famous sets of silks. Whose colours will go on that wall at the end of the 125th Vodacom Durban July? And by the way, this is the 20th year that Vodacom have sponsored Africa's greatest horse race. What a panel that we have put together here, courtesy of Hollywood Bets. I'm going to start off on the left-hand side, my far left-hand side, Justin Snaith, who is attempting to rewrite history yet again with yet another winner of the Vodacom Durban July. It's gone do it again, it's gone do it again, it's gone Bulgarian. 2021, we'll find out who you think it's going to be in 2021, but first of all, Justin, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for being here, as always.
Great, thanks very much, Alistair. It's amongst this great panel. Very lucky to be here.
Yeah, well, we've kept the two trainers apart and the two jockeys that have won this race apart as well. For obvious reasons, I'm going to go to Richard Fourie. You missed out on one Do It Again, but you've done a Do It Again. You've also had Legislate. You've also had Bulgarian last year. Any nerves going into the Vodacom Durban July now that you've been there, you've done it, you've won an objection, you've won fair and square twice?
Well, it's been a great ride. So I'm also just grateful to be on this big panel with some really big guns. And yeah, going into this race, not as nervous as I used to be. It's starting to become a habit, and it's a good habit. So I'm very happy to be here and winning these sort of races.
The only Durbaner, the only person based in Durban that we've got on the panel is one Kevin Shea, who would have been feeling July fever for many, many years. And even though we're behind closed doors, it doesn't feel like there's anything different when it comes to July fever. It's still here.
Yeah, Alistair, it's lovely to be here, and lovely to listen to those sentiments of Richard to say it's becoming a habit, and that's very important, I think, in these big races, that if you get in there and you're all nervous and you start letting your imagination run with you, things can go wrong. But it's lovely to listen to that. But it's also, thanks to Hollywood, it's lovely to be with the two trainers that I won for, and it's a privilege.
Yeah, and then finally on the far right, we got Mark de Kock, who's here as well, who I'm sure is going to have plenty to offer, even though no runner in the Vodacom Durban July, and it is Africa's greatest horse race for a reason. Mark, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolute pleasure and a privilege to be part of this panel. Thank you.
Let's just go back to Justin and ask him what it takes to win the Vodacom Durban July. Obviously, if you think back to Dancer's Daughter, Dead Heating in 2008, and then the incredible run that you've been on, what type of horse does it take? Do you know, as you leave the race course on Saturday night, well, 2022, these are the horses that we're gonna be bringing in next year?
A horse hidden from the handicappers?
Well, we'll hear from Mark about handicappers later on, I'm sure. But there's got to be other various aspects that you look at over the 12 months between July to July.
No, I pretty much put it to you need a horse that's handicapped correctly. It's a 2,200 meter race. It's very tough. You need a lot of things to go your way, and a horse obviously of high quality.
And Richard, have you felt anything different with all the Vodacom Durban Julys that you've won? I mean, obviously last year was a July with a difference. Did it still feel the same crossing the line in front?
Yes, there's always that big hype. Even there was no crowds, you still feel like you've just achieved some great things, and so the feeling's always there.
And then Kevin, you obviously had that heartbreak with El Picha going down a short head. You missed out on that Vodacom Durban July by the narrowest of margins. Then you obviously found a Pitombi who won a great race, probably one of the most memorable Vodacom Durban Julys. The first that was obviously sponsored by Vodacom, and then Dead Heating on Dancer's Daughter. So all those mix of emotions. But let's talk about the one in 2000 where you just got nabbed. I mean, how did that feel? What was the devastation like?
Yeah, it was one of those days. My dream was to win the July, being a Durban boy, and I thought that short head went against me, and I thought that was it. Now it's not going to happen again, but fortunate enough, I found some very good horses afterwards. And the question you asked, Justin, what do you need to win the July? And you definitely need a very good horse. You can look at the record for yourself, and a lot of luck in the running as well. A lot of thing goes to the jockey that's on to make it easier for the horse to get him into momentum and go from there. So, yeah, it's been a privilege for me, and I'm very grateful that I have got 1.5 under the belt. So I can live with that.
The stats at the end didn't show half a win, by the way. With
okay, it's 2, yeah.
Kevin, it depends how you look at the picture. I thought you were in front.
Exactly. I thought. I also thought I was in front with El Picha and Young Rake. So we won't go down that road.
And then, Mark, those famous scenes in 2002 when you got on Nippy Tombi's back, the emotion, the love that you showed for winning Africa's greatest horse race. What did that feel like? And then obviously with Grays and Igugu, Bold Silvano subsequently, thankfully you didn't get on their backs. But just tell us about that emotion of that first Vodacom Durban July win.
Yeah, she got a penalty immediately. Back top weight the next race. Yeah, it was hugely emotional, not having won the July and knowing that she was going to leave the country, so you weren't going to have another crack at it again. Plus, obviously, the first Vodacom, and I mean, if one goes back those days, still today, Vodacom is a very big brand. It was probably even bigger then because it was all new, cell phones were new. So it was a massive occasion for us, and, you know, I knew then as well, because we were going to start traveling, and you know, if it was going to be successful, it was going to be hard to win the July again. And she's a kind of filly that could have backed up, that's for sure. But yeah, it was hugely emotional. Also, given the partnership with Hank and all the Zimbo guys, was massive. And there was this little filly that was, I don't think she cost the sum total of $500 when they bought her. To come here and win was huge, I think.
And she, of course, was the first, along with Victory Moon, to go from the Vodacom Durban July to Nat Al Sheba, put South Africa on the map, and there have been many others that have won this great race that have, of course, gone on those their merry way. Right, just before we get into the discussion of the 20 runners, we're going to talk about the 2 reserves briefly for the Vodacom Durban July. Don't forget that while the show is broadcast on Thursday evening, that Hollywood are going to be offering inflated prices. So just take advantage of that. Whatever you like. For the feature races on the card, races 3 to 9, you'll be able to get inflated prices courtesy of Hollywood. So make sure that you open that mobile account. Obviously, we're behind closed doors. You don't want to be getting into the branches, but mobile accounts on any type of platform will be preferred, and get those accounts going and get betting, because you're going to get some gifts when it comes to the Vodacom Durban July 2021. Just for this moment, just for this hour, that we'll be talking through the card and obviously going in depth for the Vodacom Durban July. As we have a look at the betting, the current favourite is number 14, Got the Green Light. Obviously, there's been steady money for Got the Green Light as the Vodacom Durban July betting came out initially, down to 5 to 2 at the moment. But as mentioned, you will be able to get nice stretches throughout the show. There's also been steady money for a few horses throughout the race. Do It Again, after his gallop on Thursday last week, came in for some support, and there's also been steady support for She's a Keeper. She was obviously dicey to get into the Vodacom Durban July initially, and then winning the 1900 about 6 weeks ago really brought her into the picture. But even before she won the 1900, there was a lot of interest and a lot of talk, especially with the locals, about her chances. So those are just some examples of horses that have come in for some support over the months that the Vodacom Durban July betting has been available on Hollywood Bet. Right, let's get the show in the row. Like I mentioned, we are going to start off with the reserves and just briefly get an opinion from one member of the panel about the reserves. Number 20 on the card is Shango, trained by Sean Tarry. And of course, Shango is reserve number 2. He is carded to run earlier on in the day, so if he doesn't get a chance in the Vodacom Durban July, he will be going around Hollywood Bet's Gravel as it is. Sean Tarry is the trainer of Shango. Let's find out what he has to say if he gets a run.
I think Shango has been a horse that I've earmarked for this race for a long time. To be a reserve runner is disappointing. He has had a very good preparation. His gallop was exceptional on Wednesday. He's come through it really well. He's a decent horse. He's run with the favourite as a 3-year-old. Yeah, if we have to get a last-minute call, we'll be ready for it.
I'm going to pick Mark de Kock's brain when it comes to Shango. If he gets a run, or are you surprised that he hasn't got a run? But if he gets a run, do you see him shaping up?
Especially the fact that he's come down such a lot in the ratings. He's unfortunately one of those 3-year-olds that's a victim of a very inflated rating, and it's taken a bit of time to get to where he actually should be. He would have been hugely more competitive, given the fact that his last run was a good run, and he's in form. There's horses in here, albeit with higher ratings, but are not in form. And you know, I just kind of think current form has got to count for something, and clearly it hasn't counted on it with a few horses in this race.
Okay, so that's number 20 on the card, Shango. Let's talk about number 19 on the card, who is Silver Host. This is the first reserve, so if there is an early casualty, Silver Host will be the first horse to get a call up. This, of course, in the colours of the Drakenstein stud. He will also be carded to run in the Campanaggio 2200 earlier on in the day, if all 18 carded runners do stand their ground. Justin, we didn't need to get hold of you for voice notes because you're here. So let's have a word about number 19, Silver Host. If he did get a run, are you also surprised that the win in the Track and Ball Derby didn't get him into the race?
Alistair, I was shocked and very disappointed. My clients were gutted. We only brought him out in the Track and Ball Derby just to qualify him in the July. I had no intention of running him in the race. He's coming to form at the right time, and this was just to showcase the panel that he was in good form. He's won 3 Group 3 races over the similar distance of the Vodacom Durban July, but it seemed to not count at all. So very disappointed, to be honest, especially when you see some of the horses that have made the field. So I don't even know if we will bring him out on Vodacom Durban July day. The aim will probably be the Gold Cup, so we'll just hopefully everything goes well this week, because obviously we ran him not long ago with the intent of getting into the Vodacom Durban July.
Okay, so there are the comments about the reserves. Right, let's get into the race runners, and we are going to go through this with in betting order, however, outsiders towards favourites. So we're going to start off with the 75 to 1 shots. When it comes to number 4, Express from the US, from the Stuart Pettigrew stable, this will get the services of Marco van Rensburg. I'll still get number 4, the son of Water Winter, and of course Stuart is one of the many trainers around South Africa sponsored by Hollywood Bets, and he's enjoying a great run of form. In fact, I think he's got a good chance earlier on in the day. About number 4, Express from the US, well, let's find out what Stuart thinks about this horse's chances.
The horse's prep gone extremely well. He's working well. He's looking good. I just believe that this field is too strong for him. He's just not well handicapped. He's way out. So we'll go there, give it a bash. Anything can happen in racing. Clive Barnard would love to have a run in the July. We're just hoping for a nice run, and I'm sure he'll give us a nice run.
Okay, so Mike, let's start off with you when it comes to number 4, Express from the US. We obviously know Stuart quite well. He's opposite you at Rijksfontein, and he is known to call a spade a spade. The horse is rated £2 inferior to 5-time Grade 1 winner Got the Green Light. He won the Grand Heritage, did Express from the US. Stuart seems to think he has a hard ask, does he?
Yeah, his merit rating almost leaves one shocked, to be honest. If you think he's getting a kilo from, has he won 5 Group 1s, Joey's also? I think?
Yes, 5. Yep.
It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, you couldn't look at this as a handicapper and think you've done a good job, in my opinion. So, as much as I think Stuart Pettigrew is one of the better trainers in the game, I've got a lot of respect for him. He is by Water Winter. He's had a hatchet drop done by the handicapper. I'd love to see him run well, but on paper, he is. I think Stuart's been putting it nicely. He's got a big task. You know, he's just about got no chance. But he is you know, as I say, at the weights, he's just dead on arrival.
Okay, so that's number 4, Express from the US, and I think the rest of the panel do share those sentiments, and we will obviously bring all 4 panelists in when we get to the bigger or the more fancied runners according to the betting market. Right, on to the next, and we're going to talk about number 15, Matterhorn from the Alison Wright stable, another trainer sponsored by Hollywood Bets, one of 3 ladies with a runner in Africa's greatest horse race. 75 to 1 is the price. Sereno Mudley takes a ride, and blinkers go on for the first time in his life, the son of Marchfield. He certainly had a very profitable winter since coming back from a break. He's run second in the 1900, second in the Lonsdale, hence his acceptance into the race. Alison Wright speaking about the son of Marchfield.
Yeah, we're very happy with his gallop. You know, he didn't do a lot, but he has raced quite often the last 2 months, and very happy with the way he was moving. Unfortunately, he's run 2 short-haired seconds, and I think it's himself that has cost it. Tends to run around a bit in the closing stages. We've put the blinkers on to help that fact, and so we're just going and hoping for the best.
Okay, Kevin, based in KZN, Matterhorn. He looks like he's got a hard ass. Do you think he could sneak into the top 5 or 6 and get a nice little stake check?
For Alison and Kevin's sake, I hope so, but personally myself, I think he's got a lot to do. Alistair, he's in form. Second to She's a Keeper, 0.9 nearly a length. She's a Keeper's in the July, so if you want to put those two together, fair enough. But I personally think a lot to do, especially from that drawn with that weight.
Okay, so that's Matterhorn, big price, and obviously will be a very popular winner with lots of locals. It would be great to have another lady in the number one box after Candice Bass-Robinson did it in 2017 with Marin Oresco, Alison Wright and Serena Moodley obviously representing KZN, as is Tony Riverland and number 17 Trustful. And the colours of Mary Lally. It'd be great to have Mary's colours up on the wall on my right-hand side. There's a very interesting picture of Callan Murray that was straight after a haircut, one of the many places he went when he was based in Joburg. Callan Murray does take the ride at number 17, Trustful, bred by the Gary Player Studies, a four-time winner. He's a very, very consistent, lovely horse to own. Is he up to it in the Vodacom Durban July? Let's find out what Tony Riverland has to say.
Yeah, the intention wasn't to do too much. He ran 10 days ago in the Cup trial. He's in a really good space. He's pretty fit. It's just to keep him moving, and he'll still have another good, hard sprint up at Summerveld in the next 3 or 4 days, just depending on his blood. His attitude's good, he's enjoying life, he's eating really well, so I couldn't be more happy.
Okay, so let's keep it local. Let's stay with Kevin Shea. We'll bring the Cape Town boys in just a moment. Number 17 on the card, Trustful, son of Trippy. Kevin, you know him quite well. Obviously went up to Joburg during the spring-summer season. Didn't rip up any trees, but he absolutely adores Hollywood Bets Gravel.
Yeah,
At this class, though?
Yeah, this is his test, definitely. But a beautiful animal. You'll see him. Tony really brings his horses to the races looking outstanding. I'm sure with him and Terry, their attention to detail, the horse will, as he says, on the day, looks well, will feel well. Is he good enough? Personally, I don't know. I think if he does win, wow, it would be not a shock, but I really would think there's other horses that definitely should finish in front of him.
Just want to bring Richard in here because he obviously rode against Trustful last time out when winning on Crown Towers. It was a good gallant performance from Crown Towers last time out. Did he give you any frights last time over the final 200 metres, Trustful, when he was lurking up to you?
Well, I sort of had it my own way. I think he kind of gave the race to me in the early stages, and I could fend him off, but he was closely getting to me, but the closer we got to the line, it just felt like I'd always just have the measure of him because we were always sprinting, and that horse of ours, he fights, so the moment you move up to him, he'll keep giving more. So I think the margin would have always stayed the same if you go for another furlong or so.
Okay, so that's how Trustful is seen in the 2021 running of the Vodacom Durban July. Let's move on to number 2, Johnny Hero. Of course, he got the call-up after winning the Jubilee Handicap. Tyrone Zaki, a number of years ago, ran very, very close with Smanje Manja and a Grant Fanikak going down oh so narrowly to Pomodoro. Cabello Matsanyani gets his first Vodacom Durban July ride. Very likeable young man, straight out of his time and straight into the Vodacom Durban July. There's his stats. Can he pull another rabbit out of the hat, can Tyrone Zaki? Let's find out what he thinks.
Johnny Hero pulled up sound after his gallop. His work has been good and doing well on the track. So far so good for the big one. And happy punting and stay safe.
So Mark, a few years ago, about a decade ago, we all sat here and said Smanje Manja, surely he's just making up the numbers. He almost calls the upset of all upsets. Can Tyrone Zaki from the same ownership pull another rabbit out of the hat?
He's an old shrewdy Tyrone. I wouldn't write him off. But, Shango just behind him doesn't get a run. And Johnny Hero's in the race. So obviously the panel didn't really view the strength of that race favourably. And the fact that Shango couldn't make the field, the panel thought he wasn't good enough. I'm not convinced he's good enough.
Okay, so that's Johnny Hero out of a good draw, Stallgate number 2. On to number 3 on the card, Shah Akbar, obviously jumping out of Stallgate number 3. Calvin Habib takes a ride here for the Sean Terry stable, and his run in the Daily News 2000 was an absolute ripper, running 2.5 lengths behind Linebacker. Whether he can reverse the form with all those horses in front of him remains to be seen. I'm sure ever the optimist Sean Terry will believe that Shah Akbar can run a nice race, and obviously great for the connections of Mary Slack and Michael Javitt to have the son of Kwarari qualify for one of the strongest Vodacom Durban Julys we have ever seen.
Shah Akbar's preparation has gone very well. He had a good gallop in Johannesburg on Wednesday. I'm happy with the way he's come through that. He has a nice draw. I think we obviously have a tough task, but if you do get a bit of luck in the race from a good draw, he could be there.
I'm going to ask Richard now about pace, because obviously there are 3 horses here that look like likely pacemakers, or horses that could go to the front, most effective from the front. Shah Akbar, Crown Towers and Running Brave potentially. If you saw 3 horses ripping off to the front, would you be happy with where you are on your mount? Would that set things up nicely, or do you just want a good pace, doesn't matter who, or what would your preference be?
Well, the quicker they go, the best horse will win, you know. So pace is everything. If they go slow, it doesn't, you know, it can throw a false sort of indication as to what goes on. But if there's a true run race, the cream will always flow to the top. You'll find that the better horses will obviously be in the finish.
I'm going to come to Justin a little bit later on when we talk about Crown Towers, about pace, and that's when I'll really bring Justin into the party. Mark, Shah Akbar, do you take him seriously in the 2021 Vodacom Durban July?
I think he's well held, Alistair, to be honest. And, you know, just looking at the replay, he wasn't really making much progress over the last 200. But the likes of Linebacker, Rascalian, I'm looking for even a better performance out of Kommetdieding. This is his 3rd run after arrest. I think they've got him well held.
Okay, so number 3, Shah Akbar, a big price in the 2021 Vodacom Durban July, 2-time winner from the 11 starts. Now we're moving on to the first of the Snaith horses that we're going to talk about, number 12, Nexus, a son of Dynasty, who of course was a supplementary entry into the big race. Craig Zaki gets the ride. A lot of shrewdies out there believe that he is well weighted, Justin Snaith, that he snuck in under the handicapper's grasp. Late decision to put him into the race. How's he doing?
Yeah, it reads badly, but the decision started in Cape Town when he won this race. I mean, this race was incredible. Not too many horses would ever have won from where he was. And then we thought, okay, we're not going to go for the Met because we don't want to get the penalties. And I ran him like 2 weeks later, and he was slightly disappointing, and we put him away for the Vodacom Durban July. So he's the horse that I've put away. As I said, we didn't run in the Met. We knew we'd finish about 5th or 6th and get 20 points. So I brought him up here. We weren't allowed to gallop at Greyville, so I took him to Scottsville, and he galloped the house down. And that's where we thought, wait a moment, this plan could actually work. He beat some very impressive horses. And then his run in, I think it was the Greyville 1900, was for us was very impressive. First run, needing it quite badly into the season because a lot of the horses were already quite fit. I thought, and I think he gave them all lots of weight. It was very impressive, and that's when we decided we must have a go. And quite frankly, he's quite lucky. We were very fortunate to get Craig Zaki. I think Craig Zaki is the type of jockey that always arrives on probably one of the weaker horses, but always seems to get results.
He finds them.
You see some of the horses that he rides, you wouldn't want to get on them. They either crazy or something like that. And we just feel that he's one of those jockeys that, given a chance, he will take it with 2 hands. So I think we've come in here. Certainly, he is a backup to some of our bigger horses. But wow, nice backup to have.
Something that I have to ask you, a lot of punters are obviously bringing this to certain people's attentions. Your KZN winter season, your champion season, has been a little bit flat by your standards. Do you think they're going to come right by Saturday?
They are right by Saturday.
Okay.
So we extended our Cape season, and I came into the Natal season later than I normally would. And it has been very hard prepping these horses for those races that were earlier in the season. As I said, Greyville is a closed shop in a way. I had to take them to Scottsville. We were a little bit nervous in the way we were galloping them. They didn't arrive at the course in their peak performance. But even in saying that, they ran good races and will come on so much into July Day. I think we've nailed it. But in saying that it's the most competitive day of racing, you can come here as well as you think you are. So do a lot of other people, and it's extremely competitive.
Mark, just quickly, how important is a prep into a day like this? How long do you personally plan for Vodacom Durban July or any other big day for that matter?
Look, Alistair, it's everything. There's not a day you want something to go wrong or to do something that you didn't want to do, even if it's just for your own mind. But it's you're dealing with elite athletes. Just look at, you hear about rugby players, cricketers, guys going into the Olympics. Little question mark about that performance, this little niggle, that little niggle. 9 times out of 10, they don't come out of it. So a prep is everything for a trainer. Everything going right. you know, there's just as I say, it's even for your own mind, but it is the be-all and end-all, in my opinion, going in without any hiccups.
Let's go on to number 13 now, Running Brave from the Fani Bronco stable. Fani's been training for less than a year under his own name. And of course, Greg Sheen takes her out 52.5 kilos on her back. And she also absolutely loves Hollywood Bets Gravel. She's been here 5 times rather, for 3 wins and a place, including in some very important races. Fani, well done. First runner in the Vodacom Durban July. It hasn't taken long.
I'm very, very happy with Running Brave's gallop. We sorted out a few niggles on her that will explain the 2 bad runs that she had. At this stage, she's in a very good space. She's striding out. She's good in herself. She's feeling good. She's fresh, and I'm happy with her prep. I can't wait till Saturday, and I think with a bit of luck and things going our way, she'll give good account of herself.
Mark, I'm just going to stay with you about number 13, Running Brave. Fani's explained the last 2 runs with a few niggles. She must have been very, very close to getting the chop.
Yeah, I think she's lucky to make the cut, and of course, fantastic for Fani in his first season training. But I don't look, with the greatest respect, I haven't seen horses come from 14 and 26 lengths in their last 2 starts to come and win the Vodacom Durban July. I think she's, again, I come to current form, prep, it wouldn't have been ideal.
Okay, so that's number 13 on the card, Running Brave for Fani Broncos. Now let's go on to Cirillo. I actually think Cirillo's got a nice little place chance here, the son of Pomodoro. Of course, Pomodoro won the Vodacom Durban July almost a decade ago for Sean Terry, and obviously Chris Van Niekerk as well. Lyle Hewitson was still in primary school when Pomodoro won the Vodacom Durban July, and that just feels like the other day. This entire 5-time winner is one of the highest earners in the race, one of the highest, not the highest, and he's at odds of 50-1. Sean Terry speaking about his son of Pomodoro.
I'm very happy with Cirillo's preparation. I've done everything that I wanted to do. His prep run was a little disappointing, but we did elect to put the blinkers back on. He has run with the best of them at level weights, so to get weights from these top horses is very exciting. Obviously, he is suspect over the distance, but he seems to be wanting it more and more. It is a tough field, but I think he is a nice outsider.
So in that race that we just had a look at, Cirillo actually has the beating of Got the Green Light. There was about 2 lengths in it at the end of the race. How much was there? 1.75, 1 3/4 lengths. And Cirillo finds himself with 53 kilos and Got the Green Light with 55. So 2 kilo swing for less than 2 lengths. That could bring number 9 Cirillo right into the picture. Kevin, have you got him in your play?
The distance worries me, but as Sean says, he's raced against the best level weights, never beaten them, always just behind them. But now he gets a couple of pounds, so maybe with a bit of luck, I would be surprised if, I don't want to mention the horses' names, other horses in the names yet, but I'd be surprised if Cirillo won. But in a good space, nice weight, raced with the best, needs a bit of luck, and Lyle Hewitson, what more do you want? Sean Terry knows how to get them ready. Lyle's a top rider. Nice draw, 9. Let them have another go, because hasn't won for a while. Worries me a little bit, but I would be surprised if it wins. To run a place? No, I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's move on to number 5, Crown Towers, and the colours of Nick Johnson. Also, Justin Snaith pulled a few strings to scratch this horse and then put him back at a hefty entrance fee, at a re-entry fee. Louis Mqotwa, definitely an eye-catching jockey. I think he's one of the best in the country at the moment. He gets his first Vodacom Durban July. He rides number 5, Crown Towers. Justin, he is a likely pacemaker. Would you be sending him out to go and make the pace? Would you be happy if something led him? Would you just, if something does go and lead him, go and do his own thing just in behind?
Look, he likes to be in front. We'll decide on the day, see the conditions. In all honesty, he's won every race from the front. Unless there are a couple of horses in this race that worry me. They, with some young riders on, and the adrenaline will be pumping. And but it doesn't sometimes pump north. So,
are you impressed with Louis, by the way?
Wow. How has he been riding lately? As I've said before, we very carefully chose our riders according to the horses and according to their current form and stuff. Obviously, we weren't like the panel of the Vodacom Durban July. We looked at everything quite carefully. So, how they're riding currently, and for us, Louis is just at another level at the moment. He's riding winners everywhere, from Cape Town to to Port Elizabeth. I see guys, even if they get an opportunity in Johannesburg, they, as a backup rider, they use him. Sean Tarry used him at Scottsville the other day. And I think he'll suit this horse. He's not scared of anything. Crown Towers is a handful, and no better guy than Louis for him. Whether he rolls on in the straight, we're willing to take our chances. There's nothing else for him on the day, and his current form is just so deadly. He just doesn't miss a beat. He's purely trained out of my Natal yard. He's here all the time. He's our Natal-based horse in the race, and deserves his chances.
Fair enough. Crown Towers for Nick Johnson. They'll obviously look really good on this wall here. Nick Johnson's pink, green and white colours. Right, let's now go on to number 8, Sovereign Spirit from the Candice Bass Robinson stable. Keegan DeMello takes the ride. And after his Met run, a lot of people pricked their ears and had a lot of anti-post interest in number 8, Sovereign Spirit. Candice Bass Robinson's won this race before. Can she win it again?
Sovereign Spirit took his gallop very well, pretty fit and well. He's a horse that doesn't take too much work. He's had a fairly good prep going into the race. He's had 2 runs back over a mile, both short of his best trip, which will be the 2-2. I mean, he's quite nicely weighted. He's nicely drawn at 8. He's got a lot in his favour this year. And despite a handful of the top horses, I think it's a very open July this year. He's certainly a horse that could finish in the top 4 if things go his way and he runs his best race on the day.
Justin, I don't really want to remind you, but African Night Sky a few years ago had a similar type of build-up into the Vodacom Durban July, kind of hiding under the handicapper. Great run in the Met, where obviously the handicapper got hold of him. But I'd like to say almost similar profile, but obviously not quite the same type of price and maybe not quite in the same type of form, but also great run in the Met that put him into the picture. Is that Met run good enough to bring him into the picture here?
Yeah, and you know, African Night Sky would have run a better race, but he didn't settle. So he actually would have been right there. I think he still ran 5th, but Grant couldn't hold one side and he went around the field. I like that the handicappers dropped this horse just before the race, which they should have done quite a while ago. It certainly brings him into a place chance. I would like to see better current form. I would like to have seen him, but both his preps into this have been over a mile, which is far too short for him, which is very interesting. I would have liked to have seen him in a 2000 to see exactly at what sort of level he's at. But I do think the drop in the weight might just bring him into maybe the first half of the field, maybe into a place. He's a horse, he's a beautiful looker. I wouldn't quite count him out. He could be, I wouldn't say he's my main dark horse in the race, but certainly a horse, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run in the first 6.
Mark, 8 months ago, he had Vodacom Durban July written all over him.
Yeah.
Does the handicapper ruin that?
Yeah, look at the 18-pound penalty for the run in the Met would have slowed his career down, that's for sure. But I think the connections knew that going into the Met. But if he's got a chance, then Nexus has got a chance. He can't beat Nexus on paper, in my opinion.
Okay, so there we go.
I think his form brings Nexus into this race in quite a big way.
Okay, so there we go. Maybe a bit of Nexus for a quartet chance in the Vodacom Durban July. We will get some 1, 2, 3, 4 from the panel right at the end. Right, let's now go on to number 10 on the card. She's a Keeper. This from the Gareth van Zyl stable, and how's she risen to prominence all of a sudden? She's 20-1. Warren Kennedy, last season's champion jockey, takes a ride on this daughter of Gimme the Green Light. She is only rated 96. Remember, the 1900 is a cap race, so she couldn't get the full penalty. Gareth van Zyl, another local boy. What does he say about number 10, She's a Keeper?
Her gallop was quite, composed and restrained. We came here not wanting to overcook her. She's quite tight and not much given away, but I'm very happy with it. She's had a perfect preparation as far as I'm concerned. Delighted, yeah, couldn't be happier.
So, Kevin, you would have seen quite a bit of number 10, She's a Keeper, along the way. She's risen to prominence. Is this a bit too much for her to chew, or do you think she's up to it? Because there are also, again, a lot of Strudies who believe that she is totally under the radar and is obviously better than her rating, but that much better that she can upset them.
Yeah, she's done nothing wrong, Alistair, I must be honest. She's you look at her in the parading, she looks like a leopard, as in her fitness. She's a natural athlete. She's quite tall. Is she as good as Epitombi? This is now you've got to try and relate her. 52 kilos, the same weight. Epitombi went from winning the Phillies Guineas into the Wolverhampton, hard held, into the July. She hasn't done this. She hasn't been exposed, and this is going to be a true test. what happens if she runs second or third? Is the handicapper going to stop her for the rest of her life? You know, it's one of those races. But I think Gareth, he's got her in a good space. She's a real athlete, and let's see how good she is. This is going to tell you how good she is. Can I stick my neck out? No, I can't. I must be honest. I can't stick my neck out. I'm not saying she can't win. I just said what I can see in front of me over here has got really nothing to do with the July, what she's run behind. She's running the Scarlet Lady, and there's no July horses there, so you can't Matterhorn. And we're all saying Matterhorn is maybe halfway down the field. So that's all you can see on paper. 52 kilos. Warren Kennedy won't have to waste for her. If she's as good as they think she is, and she's maybe better than a filly like Epitombi, then she's got to be in the shake-up. But this is, I think, a big where they're going to go with her from here. Are they going to compete with the girls, or is she going to go into these big races, the Queen's Plates and the Mets and all that in Cape Town? So it's going to be interesting to see, and it's interesting to see how good she is. She's shown she's got ability. Now they're thrown in the deep end. Let's see how good she is.
So next up is Kommetdieding, and this will be a great story if he were to come out on top in the 2021 Vodacom Durban July. For daughter-father combination, Harold Crawford and Michelle Ricks, Gavin Larena takes her out, and the son of elusive Fortin Ashwin Reynolds is bidding to become the first coloured owner to win the Vodacom Durban July. Of course, he ripped up trees down in Cape Town. Can he rip up trees in the Vodacom Durban July? This is what Michelle Ricks thinks of his gallop.
Very happy with his gallop. You know, he had a good, strong gallop, and that's what we wanted, and I'm sure he'll come out of it just fine. You know, he came out of his 2 previous KZN races far stronger than what he went in, and I think, you know, going into Africa's greatest race, we have him cherry ripe.
Kommetdieding is hanging tough. Legitimate doing all he can, but Kommetdieding remains unbeaten. Legitimate back in second.
Richard, you would have seen Kommetdieding from behind on a few occasions. How impressed were you?
Yes. He is an impressive looking horse. He's still a colt, and he is so streamlined and well athletic built. You know, he doesn't carry an ounce of extra weight. Very good looking horse. But for me, over 2-2, I'm a little bit concerned. You know, I just feel that he's a very good miler. And, you know, he doesn't have a very good draw. You know, if he was drawn in the first 7 or 8, I'd sort of be a bit afraid of him because he'd be within the halfway mark. But he's got a tough draw. I know Gavin's going to have to, you know, diet really hard to get to that sort of weight. 53.
It was 54.7 here on Sunday, he told me.
Yeah, well, he's still got a while to go because he needs to be like 52.3 to try and make the weight. So, you know, it's a big struggle. But I think that would be quite an achievement if you can get down to the accurate weight and actually ride the horse, not overweight. So, but yeah, back to the horse. Lovely horse. You know, 3rd run after a layoff, and you know, he moves well and he quickens well, so you can't disrespect horse. He's done nothing wrong. I thought his last run was very good on the Seathley. I didn't think he did anything wrong with the horse, but you know, might have been a touch too close to the speed and just tapped out of it, you know, towards the closing stages. But he is a lovely horse.
What was the most you had to sweat?
11 pounds.
And how did that go?
Epitombi. Took me 1 month.
And it won. She won.
It's good to say that afterwards, but I didn't tell you about the 15 before that, the Dawson Trails, and I took off more weight, and they're still running. So, the jock that they've taken off has done nothing wrong. If you've watched the race, you know he's a Cape Town. He's been going around left-hand turns all the time. He's been on his wrong leg twice at Greyville, turning for home, and it's taken him a long time to change his legs. No disrespect, I think Gavin will definitely going to get an extra couple of lengths out of this horse. Michelle had him spot on the day. The draws is a problem, but we've seen a lot of July winners come from outside draws. Let's see how good he is. Out of the 3-year-olds, well, we've got quite a competitive bunch.
Just quickly on the 3-year-old bandwagon. Strong bunch, this crop of 3-year-olds, Mark.
Very, very nice. You know, even the ones that are 5th and 6th best. But I really give this horse a chance. 3rd run after arrest, on a line through Rascalian and Linebacker, or proper horses. He's the one horse that can really make a bit of improvement on his last run. Interesting comment about Richard with whether he'll get the trip or not. You know, he obviously knows him better than I do, having raced with him. But you know, his last run was 2nd run after arrest. Yeah, 2nd run in Natal after a hiccup in Cape Town. I really think he should be absolutely cherry ripe, this horse. He's a runner. If Linebacker and Rascalian are runners, then this is a massive runner.
And just quickly, Justin, would you have taken Seasley off? Would you have given him the benefit of the doubt?
The jockey is so important. And Seasley did have opportunity in the last 2 starts to do something. I don't have any problem taking off a jockey that's beaten on a horse. I do think had he won those races and you take him off, that's a bit different. But when you get beat twice, I don't see any problem. You can only sometimes have one opportunity of having a runner in the Vodacom Durban July. And if you need to, you give yourself every opportunity.
Let's go on to number 11, Bulgarian. Last year's winner of the Vodacom Durban July. And his gallop, by the way, last Thursday was out of the top draw. Justin Snaith, compared to 12 months ago, better space, worse space, same space. Where's he?
Exactly the same.
Good.
He's purring at the moment.
But last year you snuck him in off the right weight, now 58 kilos. Has he made enough improvement?
Well, the pedigree, he was always going to improve. Everyone said, well, we'll see in Cape Town, and I thought his form in Cape Town showed that he made the improvement, or the other horses haven't improved. You know, so I'm very happy. I think still coming in with 58 kilos is still good enough. I was very happy to be around that weight. We've won the Vodacom Durban July. We haven't won 5 Group 1s, but we come in with 58 kilos, and I'm very happy. I think Schmanger has to be one of the hottest jockeys around at the moment, and obviously that was a big reason why we went with Schmanger. And I like his attitude. I like the way he's just going about things at the moment. If I can just get him to canter to the start slowly, we may have a better chance. So I might put him with the lead pony and tell the lead pony go slowly, because Schmanger likes to show too much before the Bling likes to show a little bit too much.
Put Schmanger on the pony and tell the guy.
Yeah, and we're cantering on the poly, so I'm going to make my slow him down a little bit. He's not going to have a choice. So I'm very happy where Bulgarian is. As I said, I didn't have much joy in prepping them here in Natal, and you got to know that they're going to improve a lot. If you don't even look at the Gold Challenge, he gets 4 pounds better off this time with Rainbow Bridge over a distance that he only comes into his own over the 2-2. Wherever Rainbow Bridge runs, I think we'll be in front of him. As I said, just to run within... we had a hiccup in Cape Town after the Mets with him. We did an operation on him. So to come back from an operation and no prep here in Natal and run 2.8 lengths behind them, you don't even know how good that is. So we're very happy, and everything's going to plan.
Richard, you're sponsored by Johnson Workwear, so you're obliged to ride for Nick Johnson. Absolutely nothing wrong with your ride. Do it again. We'll get to him in a moment. But you won on Bulgarian last year. Does he strike you as a potential 2-time Vodacom Durban July winner?
Well, there's a lot of these 3-year-olds that are looking very strong, and you know, he's a trier. He's got so much heart, this horse, and he gives everything on the race course when he runs. You know, Bling is the right guy for him. He's got good hands on a horse, and you know, you can really get him behind him if he needs to. You can never disregard this horse because when he goes, he really goes, and he enjoys this sort of trip and even further. You know, I would love to see this horse go 3,000 meters. He just stays all day, and he turns it on like you just thrown him in at the 400. So yeah, I would never leave this horse out. He's a serious horse, and you know, with the 2 kilos on Rainbow Bridge over this distance, like Justin said, I still think he'll run in front of Rainbow Bridge again.
Okay. So there we go. Fighting talk about last year's winner of the Vodacom Durban July. Maybe just loves this race behind closed doors. Imagine his name is in 2 separate chapters with the same crowd. So what about number 6, Rascalian? Is he a bit of a nearly man, or is he ready to win Africa's greatest horse race? Sean Veal takes her out for Vaughan Marshall. Obviously, Vaughan's got a particularly strong hand in this year's running of the Vodacom Durban July, and the son of Vercingetorix has been running close up of late. His record, 10 starts, 2 wins, 8 places. Never been out of the money. This horse, what does Vaughan Marshall think of his gallop just last week?
Rascalian, he's improving all the time. I think you saw from the workout, it was a very, very good workout. I know that next week they'll be spot on.
About to hit the front. Kommetdieding's going to make a race of it. Linebacker and Kommetdieding over the last 100. An eye-popping performance from Linebacker. Rascalian.
Marcus run in the Daily News 2000 shows that perhaps over the extra 200 metres he might have been able to catch a stable companion, but is it a lack of confidence? Is that he's been finding a better horse every time? 53 kilos, does that bring him into the picture?
I think it does. If you look at that run, I mean, he was kicking hard at linebacker. Well, he was running on at him, put it that way. Was that his first run after gelding or second run?
Second run after gelding.
That was his second run after gelding. Because I remember there was a lot of talk about this horse needing gelding. Obviously, Barber versus Getrix, very progressive. Drawn 6. I think he must be a huge runner based on that last run. You wouldn't be surprised to see him turn the tables on linebacker, certainly.
Okay, well, of course, Sean Veal takes a ride. Justin, let's just bring you in with number 6, Rascalian. Obviously, you'll know him quite well from Cape Town. His first run in Durban was flat. I mean, he was probably my first choice in the Vodacom Durban July. Then that happened, and I wrote him off, and then his run in the Daily News puts him right back onto the radar.
You know, for me, he's the most interesting runner in this race because I cannot work this horse out yet. He's a horse that I've been thinking about. I know I've watched every race from the days that Aldo De Mayo rode it, and he got a lot of criticism from being too far back. Then they changed to Anton. Anton hurried him up, put blinkers on him. I don't know if that horse enjoyed that. Now, you know, he sweated up a bit in the July gallops, which I wasn't too mad about. I don't know if this horse is finding this too much at the moment, and it's something that I want to learn about. I want to see how this race unfolds, and learn from watching a horse like this and see which way he goes. Because there's certainly a lot of ability there with this horse. There's a lot. I mean, you could see, as Mike said, he's firing at the line there. But I don't know if it's because the other horse is winning the race and he's gearing down. You know, he's hit the front linebacker and he's hanging all over the place a little bit, or that's just Grant. It's an interesting one. Grant's going to moan at me again because I've mentioned him in a bad way. But so, very interesting runner. As I said, I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about this horse into this race. It's the one horse I haven't worked out.
Okay, well, I don't think anyone's worked him out. Maybe he's just looking for the big occasion. Let's now go into the 2-time winner of the Vodacom Durban July, looking to become the first 3-time winner of the Vodacom Durban July. Number 16 on the card, Do It Again, a son of Twice Over. Of course, Richard takes a ride, and Justin will put a saddle over the son of Twice Over. Justin, well, can he?
Last year, I said he had an impossible task with Give Me the Green Light with 52 kilos. Bulgarian had 53. And this poor horse had 59.5. And I couldn't fancy him last year. It was just too big of an ask against horses like that, giving them so much weight. This year, I feel it's a different story. I think everyone's back into sort of their positions, possibly not got the green light. They've been very clever in getting him into the race at a light weight. So Bar got the green light. But even still, this year, he's still like 3-5 kilos better off than last year. I think it's about 3 kilos we're better off than for not much of a beating. I don't know what's happened to this horse lately. He's just got that fight back. He's just got that look in his eye again. I wish I could figure it out where it went and how he got it back, but the lights are back on. I love the draw. Don't count him out.
Richard, what do you feel?
Well, from where the horse is at the moment, he's happy, healthy, he's full of himself, and he's fit. So that's all I need. Nothing has gone wrong for me.
Justin likes the draw. Do you like the draw?
I'm so used to bad draws, it doesn't matter anymore. So he's in a good place. Like Mr. De Kock said, you know, you want to go into these races with the least excuses. So nothing has gone wrong. So I want to have a fair chance like everybody else in the race, and the best ones will win.
Kevin, we were chatting earlier. Good draw, Vodacom Durban July. They say is draw 1. Well, when they pull numbers, you want to see 1 and not 18. But is that really the case?
Not really. I think it's all depends on the horse itself. If you've got a horse that gets a little bit excited when you gear him out the gates, if you're drawn 1 or 2, you have to jump and get them into the race, and you set them alight, and you get to the drill hall, and he still stays alight. And Mark will give you an example. Flight Alert was the exact one. He got set alight out the gates to get a nice position, and he never let go of Washong for the whole race, and then got beat 2 lengths. So draw is I think it all depends on the horse. And just going back to Do It Again, I think Richard and Justin have hit the nail on the head. Nothing's gone wrong. Everything's gone right. And he was 1 to 10 in a pinnacle last time, and I promise you, if you backed him, you would have been sweating, but you could just see the guts and he just stuck his head down and put his head in front. And that's not his distance or anything. It's a mile. I think this horse is a big runner.
But he's 4 pounds down, this horse, on his last July winner run, and Justin says he wasn't in a good space, and the others are 4 pounds up. He's got to be a runner, you know, and don't write him off because he's 6 years old. I mean, if he's worked his issues out and he's had a great prep on the handicapping on paper, he's got to be a runner. If you think Got the Green Out is up 4 pounds in his last run, he had 53, he's now got 55. This horse is down 4 pounds. It's a big swing, so you can't write him off.
On we go to number 1, Rainbow Bridge. It has been Mike and Norma Rattray's lifelong dream to win the Vodacom Derby in July. Well, can this big horse take them to the number 1 box? Luke Ferraris bidding to become the first teenager in 52 years to win the Vodacom Derby in July. And if anyone gets a tune out of the Son of Ideal World, it is most certainly him. Look at this record. 23 runs, 11 wins, 11 places. Out the first 4 just once. That was in last year's Vodacom Derby in July. Can he step it up?
It was a perfect gallop, you know. He didn't need much. He raced 10 days ago. The spacing of the race is a little bit skewed, you know, to have a 5-week gap from the Drill Hall to the Gold Challenge and then 3 weeks to the July with a gallop in between. So he didn't have to do much this morning. They did the easy half pace from the 1400 and then they let them stretch the last bit up the straight and that. He's had a fantastic prep. We couldn't have asked for better. Right,
so let's keep it in the family because obviously Mike trained the half-brother, multiple Grade 1 winner Hawam, and also indirectly kind of trains Luke Ferraris, who's on his way to Hong Kong after this. You wouldn't believe he's 19 years old, would you?
No, he's a good rider, Luke. He's done a good job on this horse. I don't know if it was planned, but since he's gone on it, he's, I think probably from almost the first time he's ridden it, he started riding it from off the pace. We always a horse that was out there, a bit heady, a bit like Hawam. And he looks a much better horse from off the pace. He, however, still has remained at 134 all season, where other horses are slightly better off at the weights, others are slightly worse off the weights. Quality horse, can never write him off. I'd have a slight question mark on the 2-2. He seems to have a hell of a lot of speed, and you know, I know he won a Met, but it's a pretty easy 2000 compared to other tracks. That would be my only question mark. It would be great for Mr. Rattray. I mean, at the end of the day, I think his lifelong dream is to win a July. It would be fantastic for him. I just think he's pretty held by a few. He clearly has had a good prep, and Luke has done a good job on him as well.
Richard, how important is that rapport on a horse? When you just get along, you just get a tune out of him, and you know that you do as well.
Yeah, it's nice. You build a relationship and a bond, and you get to understand the horse. And you know, like Rainbow Bridge, I've also been fortunate enough to throw a leg over him, and he's such a smart horse. And you know, I still rode him in his early days where he was quite an aggressive horse, like Mr. De Gok pointed out. But you know, he's really started to switch off now, being a 6-year-old, and you know, he's doing things. You know, he's had such a good prep, and you know, he hasn't put a foot wrong since the Met. So he's just in a good place. Obviously, a lot of weight to carry. It is a handicap after all, but you know, he's just a remarkable horse. He's always there when you need him. But also saying that, he always looks like he taps out the last furlong in the July. You know, I also feel that he never quite gets the distance.
Justin, quick comments about Rainbow Bridge.
Amazing horse, but I think they've sorted out all the quirks. They've just got him right at the moment. They've got him at the best that they possibly could have him for this race. But it's unfair. I don't say it's unfair, but giving away so much weight to so many good horses is the only thing that can get him beat. If it was weight for age, it's a different ball game. That's the only thing. Bar that, they cannot have this horse in a better condition at the moment.
Right, let's now go on to the next one. Number 7, Linebacker, current second favourite in the Vodacom Derby in July. And again, Ken and Jane Truter, being Cape Townians, have always wanted to win the Vodacom Derby in July, like every other owner that has runners in this great race. Grant Van Niekerk takes a ride on the son of Captain of All. He, of course, has gone bang, bang, bang. Cape Derby winner, Johnson Workway Cape Derby, then won the KZN Guineas, and then won the Daily News 2000. Vaughan Marshall got a strong hand. Can he win his first Vodacom Derby in July?
Yeah, well, linebacker, did everything that I asked him to do. He did it very comfortably. His prep has gone extremely well, and I'm very, very happy with him.
Is about to hit the front. Kommetdieding's going to make a race of it. Linebacker and Kommetdieding over the last 100. An eye-popping performance from linebacker.
So, Kevin, let's start with you about number 7 linebacker. Grant van Niekerk takes a ride. Great crop of 3-year-olds. He looks the one, but will he stay?
I think he'll stay. He didn't do too bad in the Daily News. His form says he can win the July. He's won the Derby, he's won the Guineas, he's won the Daily News. Mark will tell you, most horses that are 3-year-olds, the Daily News, they're in the shake-up in the July. Good enough to win the July. I think he's the best 3-year-old around. Grant van Niekerk, talented, born Marshall, having a run of his life. Why can't this horse win the July? There's no doubt. I think he's a big runner.
Mark, everything on track for him?
Consistency is in his favour. I think he's had 8 starts. There's 7 on this page, and he's never been further back than second. So he's one of those that goes in with that prep in inverted commas as being great. As Kevin will tell you, that Triple Crown is if you want the mile, the 2000, the July. There's very few horses that run well in those and don't run well in the July. I think if you back linebacker, you're going to get a run for your money.
Justin, I have to ask you because he's a Cape Town horse, and obviously the Troots are clients of yours as well. 7 linebacker, people think that he was just falling a little bit over the 2000 last time. Do you?
I'll add to the panel, the Guineas in Cape Town, he should never have lost. He got taken out in the race.
That's correct.
So
That's true.
He was so unlucky. I think another horse came across and it was a very, very unlucky. So, I mean, he would have been Cape Guineas, Derby, Daily News, Natal Guineas. I mean, wow. Wow. 53 kilos on his back. To have done all that and still come into the race with 53 kilos, he is slung in. And you get Grant van Niekerk, 7 draw. He's going to be a very hard horse to beat this. I'm hoping we can obviously we're going to do our best, but he's got a lot going for him in this race.
You remember that Cape Guineas? I think you were also a victim in the Cape Guineas.
Yeah,
you would have been unlucky.
I was a little bit on the inside, but I remember, I stand to be correct, but I think this was actually raced wide on the bend.
Correct.
He got beat, yeah.
Yes.
Very unlucky loser in the Guineas. And if you look at that, compared with all the great 3-year-olds that have won the July, they win everything. And this was done nothing wrong. He's the best horse in, definitely the horse to beat.
Right, let's go on to the current favourite. Got the green light from the Joey Somer stable. Runner-up in the Vodacom Durban July last year. Muzieni takes a ride. Currently at 5 to 2. Don't forget, there'll be a nice little boost onto these prices as well. And of course, he has won 5 Grade 1s in his career. He's got draw number 14, and I spoke to Muzi. He's not worried about that at all. Joey Somer, can he win the Vodacom Durban July for Dallin Chinsami, Hassan Adams? Let's find out.
All good with Got the Green Light. His prep has gone off very well. He is in a good space. No doubt in our minds that he is a much stronger horse than he was when he was runner-up in last year's Vodacom July. We're expecting a very, very good run. I hope it's a true run race. I hope the pace is on, and may the best horse win.
So the favourite, number 14 on the card, Got the Green Light. A son of Gimme the Green Light under Muzieni. Draw number 14. Muzi is a Durban boy, born and bred, and he's not too worried about the draw. Mark, can he win for Joey Somer?
No, I think it's been by design for Joey. He's done a hell of a job with this horse. And I remember talking to him after last year's July, just discussing the penalty, and he said to me, I promise you that they've got this horse totally wrong. And I think he actually phoned the handicappers to tell them how wrong they had got it. And he never gave them a chance to fix that up. You know, the way he placed the horse was pretty shrewdly. And then they, I think, hit the panic button in his last start and realised, my goodness, we've got a 5-time Group 1 winner here, rated at 124, and try to catch up in the wrong race. So Joey's been extremely shrewd about this. He's done everything right. I think everything he's done about the horse has been by design. He's kept the handicappers at bay, and I hope for him that it pays off. I think it would be a hell of a thing for Joey. He hasn't got a big yard. He's a very, very shrewd trainer. He's an extremely good trainer of a good horse, and this would be one for the people. If for the want of a better word. If this horse should come and win, I think it would be fitting. Not that anything's deserved in this game, but these people put their money down. Joey's is a hell of an operator, and I hope that his calculated gamble is going to pay off for him.
Kevin, what's your feeling? Would you be surprised to see him in the number 1 box at the end?
Not at all. I think Mark's hit the nail on the head. Only thing he's got against him got the green light. I think it's 40 years since the horse has been off that amount of time and has won the July. That's the only little quirk. Otherwise, he's hidden the horse well. He's done everything right. I've ridden for Joey. He's a master in the Group 1s. Muzi's having a season of his life. He's a huge runner. If the 3-year-old linebacker can't pull it off, got the green light, is definitely the 4-year-old that sticks out for me. Aimed at this race, he deserves it.
Richard, we don't want to talk about provincialism and everything else, but he's undoubtedly Joburg's leading light. How much respect do you have for him?
Huge respect. I think when I beat him in the July last year, that was the first time Muzi rode it. Didn't quite know the horse. Now he's sort of married onto this horse, and he would know what to do. Muzi's a talented boy. He knows what to do, and he's got a talented horse. I always believe all the horse with a lighter weight, those are the ones who win the July. So, or obviously, and if you get a very good 3-year-old, that can win as well. But lovely horse, nice big individual. Sometimes this race can be a bit bumpy, but this horse ticks all the boxes as well.
Justin, you've got a record of saying that he's the horse to beat. He's the best handicapped horse. Have you changed your mind?
No, definitely not. And I think Mike nailed it there. It'd be so nice for racing for Joey Soma, and as I said earlier about jockeys. I mean, Muzi at the moment is riding winners everywhere, and he's.
You even found him at Fairview the other day.
How did he ride that day? I mean, he was just. He's got a lot of. He's got a lot of confidence at the moment. He's definitely a horse that we have to give a lot of respect. 55 kilos, and in my opinion, here in Natal in the season here, a lot of the horses have been coming from Joburg tired. The season was a good season in Johannesburg, and there were a lot of races for the horses, and the guys seemed to race them quite a bit. But when they came down for Durban, it was almost like their 6th, 7th run in a row. So a lot of them were a little bit disappointing, whereas this horse is coming fresh. So I think this is going to play in his favour, and I think Joey's nailed it.
Okay, Justin, last year, Dees asked you a 1, 2, 3, 4. You said absolutely no chance. You got owners to please. So what I am going to ask you is, who is the one horse that we just need to include? But you can choose any bet that there is. It can be a win, place, swinger, trifecta, quartet. Just one horse from your yard that we need to put into the swinger with one other or to a quartet. You can choose, but I'll come to you in a moment. Richard, you have to choose. Do it again. Who's your big danger?
Got the green light.
Okay. I'm going to ask you two to tip a 1, 2, 3, 4 because you've got no interest in the race. Kevin, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I like linebacker number 7 from number 14. Got the green light. 16, 18, and 11 are Do It Again. 18 Kommetdieding and 11 Bulgarian. And I got to respect number 1 Rainbow Bridge as well. There is 5 there, but I know they are the most probably in the betting order just about. But these are the best horses in the race, and I think that this year the cream is going to come to the top.
Jockey education, ask for 4, get 5. Mark?
He was always a greedy man, Kevin, when it came to carving the turkey. He always wanted extra. But I'm going to be just as greedy and go with 5. Got the green light to win. And to place in no particular order, they'll be Rascalian, Linebacker, Nexus, and Kommetdieding.
Okay. My 1, 2, 3, 4 is got the green light to win it. From in 2nd place, Do It Again. 3rd position, I'm going to go with Rascalian, and then for 4th, Rainbow Bridge. Justin, you've had time to think. What are you going to... You can choose anything that you like.
Very hard one. I'd probably Bulgarian for the place.
Okay.
First fall.
And your biggest danger, not from your yard?
Of course from my yard. Very hard one. Maybe Nexus for the first 6.
Right, just going to stay with Justin. Obviously, we just need to brush through the remaining races. You've got a lot of horses. Race 1, you got a first timer, 3 Hearts. Quick comment?
She's doing well at home, but first time out's always very hard. I think maybe small place chance.
Race 2, Admiral Burnham and Gordy's Masterpiece. Richard rides Gordy's Masterpiece. What do you think of those two?
Everyone says that we're all racing for second in that race, Andrew Fortune.
Okay. Race 3, Richard, I'm going to start with you. Number 7, the Gatekeeper in the Campanaggio 2200.
Doing well. I think I have to beat Sachdev. And obviously Vaughan Marshall's horse.
Okay, and Justin, your other two? Well, Sachdev obviously just got a wrap of approval, and Udasi was Silver Host.
Yes, yeah, I haven't decided yet. We'll see how this week goes. I do think Gatekeeper is starting to show signs. I think I was too soft on him here in the Natal season. He's a horse you're gonna. I think we're gonna see the best of him on Saturday. If not, we will geld him after that.
Okay, race number 4 is the first leg of the Pick 6. 15 million rand is the target. I think we'll sail past that mark as well when we get to the Pick 6 time. You've got two proven, hard-knocking, tough stayers there, Justin, but they're drawn up the grandstand. Double Mint and also Bayberry.
Yeah, the good thing about Bayberry, he hasn't seen a horse on his left-hand side this whole season. He's been 13 out of 13, 14 out of 14, and now he's 16 out of 16, I think. So, very hard ask. Quite frankly, those horses, this track, you go from the poly onto the grass. I just want them to pull up. If they pull up sound, I'll be over the moon. We've got a lot to do from those draws.
Right, race number 5 is the first of the 2-year-old features. Mark, you got Desert Miracle, your only runner on the day. Impressive last win. Not a hell of a lot went right, but still got the job done. Is she up to it?
I think she's a smart filly. She's extremely well bred. The thing I like about her, she keeps improving. I've been quite soft on my 2-year-olds this year. And I just like the way she's coming on.
Richard, you got a ride for Hollywood Bets, Kingsmead Crystal, your only ride not for Justin Snaith on the day. Any comments about her?
Last time they just went a bit too slow, and she made up 3 lengths in a slow run race. And if they run a true sort of race, she'll be in a shake-up.
All right, on we go to the second 2-year-old feature. This is the 6th race on the card. It's about time. Justin, it's not normally your style to have 2-year-olds in Durban.
Yeah, but Oratoros are quite nifty at 2. Didn't enjoy Scottsville. A dark horse in that race. I know there's 1 or 2 very nice horses. Dean's got some beautiful looking horses in that race, but not a horse to leave out. Expect a big improvement on that race from Scottsville and put him into the places. And if you're going wide in your Pick 6 there, which you have to in the 2-year-old races, include him.
Okay. Right, let's go on to the Garden Province. Just quickly, we'll spend a little bit of time on this. Captain's Ransom versus War of Athena. I'm actually going to start with Kevin. Everyone says, 2-horse race, 2-horse race. Bookmakers have it done as a 2-horse race. Is it a 2-horse race? If so, which one?
Well, what can you say? They are 2 really special fillies. I must say, the difference between the 2 is the draws, unfortunately. One's drawn 1, one's drawn 13. Richie will be able to tell you more about Captain Ransom. Done nothing wrong. She looks like she's very special. And what can I say about War of Athena? Has the travelling of War of Athena come down to Durban, finished up here, won, gone back, galloped again and come back? Is that going to be the thing? Looking at her, no. She's a beast to look at. She's beautiful. 2 great sets of owners. Wow, it's going to be hard to separate. I'd like to hear from the horse's mouth. There's the jockey-trainer combination on the left of the 1. And we know Muzienia and Paul Matchett on the other side. I mean, as you said, Muzi's done nothing wrong. Drawn 1. Out of the 2, if you ask me which one I'd like to ride, I'd only like to ride the 1 because it's drawn 1.
Okay, well, we'll come to Mark at the end.
Yeah.
Richard, let's start with you. How's Captain's Ransom doing?
She's happy, full of life and just enjoying herself.
Bring them on, Justin?
Look, the draw's a big problem. So we'll have to give her a lot of start and have a bit of luck in running.
But you're happy enough?
Yes, yeah. I would never be running unless we thought she was at her best. So everything's going perfectly at home.
Okay. Mark, casting vote. Which way are you going? Or you can tip something else if you think there is something else.
Provincial, and I'm going to go with War of Athena. I think...
what about the campaign?
Tough,
12 months on the boil.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to say that, but I mean, does a form show it? No. And, I mean, the filly galloped at Reinke's this week. I mean, she's absolutely flying. They just don't come tougher. Matchy done a hell of a job. I suppose the draw is probably what makes one lean towards her. I think it's going to be a true run race. I think Paul does have one in here that should tow them along a bit.
Yeah,
she's used to it.
That's her job.
Yeah, she's used to it, correct. Yeah, it's the race of the day for sure, and I think it'll be the decider for the 3-year-old filly of the year, because both of these fillies are top draw, 2 of the best we've seen in a few years.
And then just quickly, Richard, Justin, the last 2 races in the Post Merchants, now on Vodacom Durban Gelato, which is great to see. Captain Tatters, great run, but one-time winner, and Casimir, proven.
Yeah, he got beat in the Work Riders race.
Yes.
And then he got beat less than a length in the Group 1. Doing well at home. Expect a nice run from him. Casimir, sadly, from that draw, we have to drop him out to near the back of the field, and he could be running on, but the draw is a big problem.
And then finally, race number 10, you've got 4 runners in the Tequila handicap: African Night Sky, Native Tongue, Pinkerton, and Wild Coast. Any preference?
I think African Night Sky just needed his last run. He'll run a good race. Native Tongue and Pinkerton, it's going to take a very nice horse to beat them. They are very well weighted. Pinkerton, you'll see that he's only just had 1 run in the tell, needed it. It's going to take a very nice horse to beat those 2 horses.
Okay, just before we get into some formalities, Justin, 1 for the day. Any horse, any race, obviously you're going to choose yours. And what Hollywood are going to do is that we are obviously going to work out a nice stretch on this all to come that we're about to tip. The 5 of us are going to tip 1 on the day, win, place, whatever race, whatever horse, and a nice stretch coming your way. And you can follow us, you can ignore us. If you think that we're worth our salt, then put us to the test. So Justin, who's your 1 for the day? Can be win, place, any horse, any race.
I'd say Pinkerton for a place.
Pinkerton for a place. So that's race 10, number 10. So we'll work upwards. Richard, who's your 1 for the day?
Bayberry for a win.
Bayberry for a win in race number 4. Right, my play is going to be race 6, Castletown a place from the Stuart Pettigrew stable. Very, very impressed with his debut when the form lines worked out nicely. I just hope that he'll handle Hollywood Betts Gravel. I think he'll be very effective on a course like the Turfentine Standside track, but I really like what I saw. Kevin, your 1 for the day?
I like a little bit of Waterbury Lane in the race 6 for the Dean Canamay yard. I think definitely run a place, but if you'd like to put it in as a win, I'm sure Hollywood will give you the option to either have a straight win or a straight place.
They definitely will, they're bookmakers.
So I would definitely say Waterbury Lane for a place.
Right, that's in race number 6. And Mark, are you going to go with your horse?
I'm going to go with my filly.
Win or place?
Win.
Why not?
Too short to place.
Right. Well, there we go. That's a lovely all to come. If that works out well, then you'll be right out of it at the end of races on Saturday. Right, just before we go on, the Punters Challenge by Hollywood Bets is an exciting free-to-enter competition. If you haven't played it already, all you need is a Hollywood Bets account. Go to the Punters Challenge page on the Hollywood Bets site and pick 1 horse that you think will win each of the races on Vodacom Durban Gelato. This is the exciting part. There is a must-be-won prize of 100,000 Rand that will be shared among the top 50 on the leaderboard. The punter who comes first with the most points will win the lion's share of the prize at 50,000 Rand. There is also a mega prize of 1,125,000 Rand that could be yours if you successfully tip all 10 winners on race day. How's that for a challenge? So enter the Punters Challenge today and climb the leaderboard to glory. Don't forget that T's and C's apply. I do play that Punters Challenge and absolutely enjoy it. It's a great initiative from Hollywood Bets. Don't forget about the exotic pools on the tote on Vodacom Durban Gelato. 10 races carded. Of course, there's a Jackpot Quick Mix 2 that begins with race number 1 on the card, expecting 200,000 Rand. The buy pot begins in race number 2, and the likely pool there is 600,000 Rand. That is very conservative. Place accumulator starting in race number 3, and I think with the competitive nature of the day, 1.8 million Rand is a very appealing pool, and I think it should pay nicely. Likewise, the pick 6, 15 million, I believe, is conservative. Obviously, a couple of years ago when Hollywood Bets Gravel was bulging at the seams when people were allowed in, we got to, I think, past 30 million Rand, if I'm not mistaken. So 15 million Rand, we can definitely do that and more, and of course, that will only help the game in a good way. Jackpot 1 begins in race number 5, likely pool there 3 million Rand, and of course, that jackpot is packed with feature races. Then in the big one, in the Vodacom Durban July, catch that quartet. You'll be playing into a pool of 10 million Rand. It's also the start of a second jackpot and a likely pool there of 1 million Rand, and also a nice pick 3 to go home with starting in race number 8 with a likely pool of 300,000 Rand and a trifecta. If you're in trouble, Race number 9, Trifecta, 500,000 Rand is the target over there. So that's how the pools are all shaped up on Vodacom Durban July Day 2021. There's so much going on. Don't forget to back your Vodacom Durban July favourite on Hollywood Bets, and it's been an absolute pleasure taking you through this panel with such an illustrious bunch of guests. Thanks very much to Mike de Kock, to Kevin Shea, to Richard Furry, and to Justin Snaith. May the 2021 Vodacom Durban July be the July of your dreams. May you find all the winners. May you win big, and may it be the day that everything falls into place.